Personally, I think we're overdue for 1 million per Bitcoin in 2024, just based on the entire macroeconomic situation. So I guess my guess is 2024, 1 million. That's the outlook. Omega Candle is the next step after the God Candle. So we've been talking about a God Candle of 10K green on the daily for some time now. And Omega Candle is 100K green on the daily. So when Bitcoin goes up 100K or 0.1 M.
Jan 3 Chief Executive Officer and big Bitcoin bull Samson Mow believes Bitcoin will hit a massive $1 million per coin in 2024. Mow's ultra-bullish case for the leading digital asset is predicated on a significant supply shock, which Mow believes is only weeks away. The crypto asset's current performance does not dissuade Mow, as he believes the move to $1 million could happen in a matter of days if his predictions of the Omega Candle become reality. According to Mow, the Omega Candle is the higher version of the God Candle, which could see a price gain of up to $100,000 in one price jump. In addition to the increased demand from ETFs and the coming halving event, Mow also predicts increased Bitcoin demand from nation-states. In fact, Mow's biggest warning for retail investors is to adopt Bitcoin before nation-states do. As the CEO of Jan 3, a Bitcoin-focused firm fully committed to accelerating hyper-Bitcoinization, most of Mow's work involves orange-pilling top government officials in countries and regions worldwide. During an interview with Bram Kanstein, Mow reveals that many nation-states are interested in Bitcoin, but need more significant price gains as motivation to come on board. Fortunately, some of that motivation came with the approval of several spot Bitcoin ETFs by the US Securities and Exchange Commission. Mow believes these countries and autonomous regions like Madeira only need a little more push in the form of significant price gains before they are fully committed. He adds that those price gains will come as we get closer to the halving event, and more institutional investors come on board through BlackRock's IBIT and other Bitcoin ETFs. After that, Mow predicts that things will get really crazy as nation-states start buying, possibly pushing Bitcoin to $1 million per coin. As we bring you clips from the interview, please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
Approval of the ETFs is actually very big for nation-state adoption because it signifies that Bitcoin is okay now, right? When you can point, like when we talk to some people, it still comes up, Bitcoin is risky and it's not really, it's still something that criminals and hackers use, etc., right? But now we can say, well, the largest asset manager on the planet has an ETF, and along with 10 others. So it changes that discussion and it puts an end to that discussion immediately, which is very powerful in the tool bag of things that we can use to orange pill nations. We're working with a number of countries, right? So there's Colombia, Suriname, Prospera, not a country, but a special economic zone, Madeira, and Montenegro. There's a lot of countries that we are engaged with, and there are more that we haven't talked about yet. Those are in their redacted column. But there's a lot of work to be done. And I think as Bitcoin price goes up, as the ETFs solidify, and as these ETFs make their ad campaigns, it makes it a lot easier for us to engage about Bitcoin. Like when Bitcoin price tanked after FTX and Do Kwon, that was a very difficult time. But even before we recovered to these levels, we started to get some re-engagement again. And that's why we had those meetings towards the end of 2023. But if Bitcoin does go to 0.1 M or higher, I'm sure there's going to be a lot more countries coming and trying to engage and figure out what to do. I think I posted a picture too that someone made. I forgot who. I just pressed repost picture and it didn't tag the guy and I lost it. But it was a calculation of how much exchange Bitcoin remains, 1.4 million or so, and how long it takes to exhaust that just by current ETF demand. And it was like something to the order of 80-ish days, which kind of lines up with halving. So at the time, in theory, all the exchange Bitcoin is hoovered up. You have the halving, which cuts supply down more. So it's very interesting to look at these numbers.
Next point, the Veblen effect.
I think it's coined for luxury goods. So the more expensive a luxury good is, the more people value it because it's a status symbol and it costs a lot. And that's what makes it luxurious. And I think Bitcoin, we've already proved that the Veblen effect works on Bitcoin. But unfortunately, it was proved when we went down. So when we went down, no one wanted to buy it. At 15K, it's a horrible thing. Nobody wants that garbage Bitcoin, right? Because it's 15K. But that proves that the effect will work when it goes up. When we go to 0.1 M or 0.5 M, that's when Bitcoin is a very, very attractive thing. It's also tied in psychologically to the market cap of gold, because at 0.25 M or 0.5 M, we eclipse gold market cap. And that's when Bitcoin is the new gold. And that's when the ETFs run their new campaign. Like, this is the new gold. And that's basically anchors Bitcoin. And people will just want Bitcoin even more.
Mow's ultra-bullish sentiments for Bitcoin in 2024 are shared by many other prominent crypto personalities, analytics firms, and other crypto-focused organizations. According to recent reports, Franklin B., a partner with California-based hedge fund Pantera Capital, believes Bitcoin is well positioned to take advantage of $500 billion worth of opportunities in the decentralized finance sector in 2024. In a recently published note, Franklin wrote, "Technological unlocks and macro trends are converging towards a breakthrough moment for DeFi on Bitcoin. A decentralized financial system may finally be emerging with Bitcoin at its foundation. Its potential is similar or greater than DeFi on Ethereum today, albeit following a different evolutionary path." Franklin further noted that while the Ethereum blockchain network has dominated DeFi historically, Bitcoin is now riding a wave of positive market sentiment that makes it well poised to serve as a preferred network for the next wave of DeFi applications and opportunities. Franklin also estimated that the value of DeFi applications run from $72 billion to $450 billion, which are now up for grabs for Bitcoin. It goes without saying that that will spur further development of the network and rapidly increase the price of the leading cryptocurrency. Here are more clips from Mow's interview. This time, he talks about macro trends and how they will contribute to the Bitcoin and crypto bull market in 2024.
We like to say as Bitcoiners that Bitcoin fixes this, and it applies to a lot of things. Bitcoin fixes a lot of problems in society. It fixes inflation. It fixes debasement of currency. It fixes potentially even bad governance too. So that's why we say it. It's like a band-aid saying. But the reality is, Bitcoin fixes a lot of these things because a lot of things in the world are based off of our monetary system. In fact, you can look at human civilization as a whole is largely based on our ability to trade with one another and our ability to specialize. And that ability comes from having this concept or construct of money where we can trade and exchange our time and value with one another. So when that whole system becomes corrupted and it can be manipulated by central banks, governments, etc., then everything breaks down. And this is what we are seeing in the world today. And this is why Bitcoin fixes so many things. So I guess the answer is Bitcoin is important because it fixes a foundational part of civilization and society. Fiat money is like a security blanket of sorts. You know, you can hold it and you think you're safe, but the reality is it doesn't protect you from anything. And in fact, it might harm you. But when you take away that security blanket, you're suddenly thrust into a world of having to take responsibility for things, like take responsibility of having custody of your own money. And this is like an alien concept for people that grew up putting their money in the bank to keep it safe. Whereas, you know, in the 1900s, maybe at least you would maybe keep your gold bars and coins in a safe of your own. So it's just an alien concept now that I need to take responsibility and I need to keep my own money for myself.
The Fed is thinking about pivoting. Like, what can you share about that?
Well, they have no choice but to pivot, right? The funny thing is that the Bitcoin halving cycle lines up nicely with the election cycle in the US. So, you know, it goes back to a lot of problems with governance, but we can go into that another time. But, you know, the new administration, when they start, they can do things. But when it's time for election, they need to give free stuff to people again, right?
Yes.
They need to get the people happy and get the vote, right? And they will sacrifice the future for that. So that means renewed QE. It has to happen. Also, the debt is ballooning, right? The interest payments to service the debt in the US are getting to hundreds of billions of dollars. And they just went up from 34 to 35 trillion in debt. And if you know how compound interest works, you know that is going to spiral out of control because it compounds, right? It's like it's exponential. Compound interest is exponential. So they can keep that up and get more debt, or they can lower interest and print money to service the debt, because that's the only way to deal with that. They have to print money from somewhere because it's not going to come from GDP. There's just too much that has been printed and spent already. So QE is inevitable as we go into QT, quantitative tightening, or quantitative hardening, QH for Bitcoin.
In other news, former US President Donald Trump took the entire cryptocurrency industry by surprise earlier this week when he told Fox News that Bitcoin has taken a life of its own and will probably need some regulation. While this is not a direct show of approval of Bitcoin, this is the closest Trump has come to doing so. The former US president has always been critical of cryptocurrencies, and he only recently reiterated his disdain for central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, on the basis that a digital dollar will give the federal government absolute control over people's finances. However, in his latest appearance with Laura Ingraham on Fox News, Trump seemed to have warmed up to cryptocurrencies, particularly Bitcoin. During the discussion, Laura asked Trump if he thought adopting Bitcoin would be a logical step, given that it's decentralized, free from government control, and loved by younger people. This was Trump's response to the question. "I always liked one currency. I call it a currency. I like the dollar, but a lot of people are doing Bitcoin, and frankly, it's taken on a life of its own. You probably have to do some regulation, as you know, but many people are embracing it. And more, I'm seeing people wanting to pay Bitcoin, and you're seeing something that's interesting, so I can live with it one way or the other." Do you think Trump is finally warming up to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies? Please drop your comments, as well as your thoughts on Samson Mow's interview, in the comments section below. Also, ensure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks for watching.